the evolution of the Robin Williams movie. Before I start, if you're a movie lover, come and like my Facebook page or follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with all my videos and all my radio shows and movie specials. It would make me smile ear to ear, I promise you. All the information should be below this video, okay? Robin Williams, Academy Award winner, stand-up comedian, actor, voice actor, all-round brilliant improviser and comedic legend. Born in Chicago on the 21st of July 1951 and passed away on the 11th of August in California, a tragic suicide at his home. As we know, he had battled with depression for many, many years but never showed it. He was too busy making us laugh. Robin started his career with Can I Do It? Till I Need Glasses, and it was a 1977 American anthology comedy film. It is the sequel to If You Don't Stop It, You'll Go Blind, and it marked the film debut of Robin Williams. Williams plays it straight here, which is strange to get your head around. He's got a toothache. Although he's wearing some kind of bow in his hair, he's still the straight man to the gynecologist. It took me a while to get the joke, but I got it in the end. I won't mention it here. Same year, he appeared in The Richard Pryor Show. He was various characters. The one that sticks out is where he's a lawyer. We start to see little elements of Robin Williams we know and love shine through. These elements combine together in his next TV appearance, Laugh-In, 1977. Comedy duo Dan Rowan and Dick Martin host this fast-moving comedy series. Williams plays characters we'd expect him to portray. Last of 1977 was 8 is Enough. The series followed the trials and tribulations of the Bradford brood, which consists of 8 very independent children headed by father Tom. This comedy follows the kids as they date, grow, marry and have children themselves. Robin wasn't part of the family, by the way. Next year, 1978, he played Jason Shine in America Tonight, a talk show parody series. He actually appeared in Happy Days, the one and only Mork. My Favourite Orkin and Mork Returns are the titles. He speaks with the Fonz on why men date women. He's the perfect person to speak to with that subject, the Fonz. Happy Days ran for 10 years, 1974 to 1984, and I love the theme tune. It actually gives me goosebumps. And of course, The Fonz by Henry Winkler is exceptional. Gary Marshall, who wrote Happy Days, wrote Mork and Mindy, hence why there is a crossover. He also appeared in Out of the Blue. Before we get into our favourite Martian Mork, he was Popeye in 1980, alongside shining Shelley Duvall, who plays Olive, the adventures of the Sailor Man and his friends in the seaside town of Sweet Haven. I'm strong to the finish because I eat me spinach. Popeye made his first appearance as a supporting character in a cartoon strip in the Hearst, New York newspapers on April the 11th, 1929, so we're going very, very far back with Popeye. But we're talking 80s Popeye. Directed by Robert Altman of MASH fame. First film for Robin, so it's very significant in his career. What was more significant was his stint in Mork and Mindy. Ran for only 4 years, but what a series it was. Completely groundbreaking. It really showcased Robin Williams' sheer incredible talent. Robin starred with Pam Dorber, who played Mindy, and Conrad Janis. Mork is an extraterrestrial who comes to Earth from the planet Ork in a small, one-orc and egg-shaped spaceship. Mindy was his human friend and roommate. My favourite scenes were the Orson, come in Orson, and, of course, Nanu Nanu. But the one that sticks out for me is the fight scene. Truly impressive. He's defending himself in a fight, and he rewinds time, he pauses time, increases time, everything you can possibly think of. There's an episode where he meets Robin Williams in one episode. He offers advice about suicide, which is so powerful when you look back on it. Almost 100 episodes he was in too. The World According to Garp, 1982, an American comedy drama film directed by George Roy Hill. Hill is known for Butch Cassidy. Williams played Garp. It is based on the novel of the same title by John Irving. John Lithgow, Glenn Close joined Robin Williams in this one. The film chronicles the life of T.S. Garp and his mother, Jenny. Whilst Garp sees himself as a serious writer, Jenny writes a feminist manifesto at an opportune time and finds herself as a magnet for all manner of distressed women. Christopher Reeve and Jeff Daniels were both considered for the role of Garp, by the way. He went back into TV with fairy tale theatre as the Frog Prince. and sketch show SCTV Network. He reprised his Mork voice for Pack Preview Party before Mork, Mindy, Laverne and Shirley Fonzauer. 1982, The Incredible Shrinking Mork being most popular for the cartoon show. The title taken from the spectacular 1957 sci-fi movie The Incredible Shrinking Man. The tarantula scene is enough to give you goosebumps. Survivors 1983. Having both lost their jobs, two strangers become unlikely friends after a run-in with a would-be robber who is actually a hitman with a grudge against the two. Robin plays Donald Quinnell. Walter Matthau plays Sonny. Jerry Reed, James Wainwright is in this too. Directed by Michael Ritchie, who brought you The Bad News Bears. Written by Michael Leeson, who wrote The Cosby Show and The Tuxedo. Next, Robin played a Soviet circus musician in Moscow on the Hudson, 1984. When a Russian musician defects in Bloomingdale's department store in New York, he finds adjusting to American life more difficult than he imagined. In preparation for his role, for about a year, lead actor Robin Williams studied Soviet customs and learned the Russian language. Reportedly, Williams spent 5 hours a day learning Russian and had learned to speak it well within a month. Just shows you how good of an actor he was. The Best of Times, 1986. Jack Dundee is a banker obsessed with what he considers the most shameful moment in his life, dropping a perfectly thrown pass in the final seconds of the 1972 high school football game. Williams is Jack. Not the first time he'll be Jack, but Kurt Russell is Reno. Pamela Reed is also in this. Director Roger Spottiswoode, known for Bond, Tomorrow Never Dies. The Sixth Day with Arnold. And Turner and Hooch. If you're a fan of sports movies, you'll love this one. Another Jack after The Best of Times with Club Paradise, Jack Monaco. Injured while risking his life to save an angry German shepherd, Chicago firefighter Jack Monaco retires and moves to a small Caribbean island named St. Nicholas. There, he is befriended by the owner of a rundown resort, Ernest Reed. Greedy developers are scheming to wrest Reed's coveted beachfront property from him for non-payment of taxes. Director Ghostbusters Harold Ramis. It's an all-star cast. Rick Moranis, Jimmy Cliff, Peter O'Toole, Twiggy, Eugene Levy. Jimmy Cliff sings the theme Club Paradise as well. Seize the Day, 1986. Coincidentally, Robin Williams went on to star in Dead Poets Society 1989, in which, as a teacher, he extolled the proverb Carpe Diem, Latin for seize the day. I know, what a coincidence. Tommy Wilhelm. After losing his job, his girlfriend and his sanity, salesman Tommy packs up for New York City to try and repair the pieces of his broken life. Robin Williams is always losing his job in films, I must tell you that. Dear America letters home from Vietnam before his big hit, Good Morning Vietnam! 1987. Adrian Kroner, nominated for an Oscar as the lead, won the Golden Globe though. An unorthodox and irreverent DJ, how familiar, begins to shake things up when he's assigned to the US Armed Services radio station in Vietnam. Robin Williams ad-libbed all the Adrian Kroner's broadcasts. Wow. Twice in the film, Adrian is seen pulling out the Beatles' Help album from the station's collection, but no Beatles songs are ever heard on the soundtrack. Included among the 1001 movies you must see before you die, and rightly so. I really like the English lessons. It's so many incredible scenes. Director Barry Levinson would work with Robin Williams again in 1992. Whenever you speak to someone about Robin's career or this film, they scream, Good Morning Vietnam! That's just what they do. The soundtrack is truly brilliant. We have James Brown, the Beach Boys, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, The Searchers, Louis Armstrong. Oh, yeah. Louis Armstrong. Jonathan Winters on The Ledge the same year. He was the King of the Moon in Adventures of Baron Munchausen. He was this massive silver head in a very strange film. All-star cast, though, and it's a comedy. So we have John Neville, Eric Idle, Uma Thurman, Oliver Reed, Charles McEwen, Monty Python's Terry Gilliam directs. An account of Baron Munchausen's supposed travels and fantastical experiences with his band of misfits. In 1989, he played Robin in an animation, Back to Neverland, but it was overshadowed by the almighty Dead Poets Society. Seize the day, boys. Make your life extraordinary. My favourite Robin Williams movie. It's inspirational. It changed my life. It'll change yours too. You just wish you were a student and he was your teacher. We have the "Oh Captain, my Captain," the heavily emotional ending. He teaches the children to see things from different perspectives, gets them to stand on tables, to be passionate about poetry, to be smart, to understand life and death. Gather your rosebuds while ye may. Carpe diem, seize the day. The film is sad, really, really sad. There are some hard scenes to come by. It will give you goosebumps. I urge you to watch it if you haven't done so already. Robin stars along with Ethan Hawke. House's Robert Sean Leonard. That 70s show's Kurtwood Smith. Peter Weir directs. He brought you another life-changing one, The Truman Show, which we mentioned in our evolution of the Jim Carrey movie, which I urge you to check out if you love him as well. English teacher John Keating inspires his students to look at poetry with a different perspective of authentic knowledge and feelings. What attracted Robin Williams to the role of John Keating more than anything else was that John Keating was the type of teacher he, in his school days, always wished he had. Peter Weir gave his young actors playing the students books that detailed what kids saw at the movies, listened to on the radio, and so on. A snapshot of life for teenagers in the 1950s, which I love so much. I really respect Peter Weir as a director. The 1990s arrived. Cadillac Man. Joe's a car salesman with a problem. He has 2 days to sell 12 cars or he loses his job. Told you, always loses his job. Robin stars with Pamela Reed again. Tim Robbins joins in this time. Williams in this movie breaks the fourth wall and talks to the audience. One of the 1990 movies starring Robin Williams, the other was Awakenings. He plays Dr. Malcolm Sayer, who is a dedicated and caring physician at a local hospital in the New York City. Kind of reminds you of Patch Adams. Two big stars, Williams and Robert De Niro, in this one, Awakenings. He made 6 films in 1991. He was a mime class instructor in Shakes the Clown the same year. Dead Again and Amnesiac and A Private Eye find they might have a past life connection. He played another doctor, Dr. Cozy Carlyle, while a disgraced psychiatrist who works in a shop. They come to him for advice on past lives. Monty Python's Terry Gilliam is back with a black comedy. Robin played Parry, a deluded homeless man who is on a mission to find the Holy Grail. Not that Holy Grail, but we are talking Terry Gilliam, remember. A former radio DJ suicidally finds redemption in helping a deranged homeless man. Huge cast in this one as well. Steven Spielberg's Hook. Robin Williams plays adult Peter Pan alongside our Dusty Hoffman is Captain Hook. Julia Roberts is Tinkerbell. This one is another weird one for Williams because he's not too nice at the start of the film, which threw a lot of people off. Lots of people remember the Lost Boys scene. The kissing couple who begin to float when some fairy dust lands on them are actually George Lucas and Carrie Fisher in a cameo. Williams was the Kiwi and a final narrator in Rabbit Ears, 1991. 6 films in 1 year. Please tell me below if you know of an actor who's done more than 6 movies in a year. I'd like to know. Thank you. 1992, he did the voice Batty Coda in Fern Gully. Another one, a short called The Timekeeper. Timekeeper is a short made for Disney theme park ride. The Timekeeper is a sentient robot who tests his new time machine. The test goes wrong and he accidentally brings Jules Verne to the present. Verne goes on the run to explore our world. This was a precursor to bigger films where Robin plays a robot. Aladdin, 1992. Every Robin Williams scene is just phenomenal. 10,000 years! Will give you such a crick in the neck. Robin Williams plays Genie and the Merchant. Jonathan Freeman as Jafar. Gilbert Godfrey as Iago. Frank Welker as Abu and Rajar. So, when a street urchin vies for the love of a beautiful princess, he uses a genie's magic power to make himself off as a prince in order to marry her. Because Robin Williams ad-libbed so many lines in this, the script was turned down for a Best Adapted Screenplay Academy Award nomination, which is a crying shame. During the course of recording the voices, Robin Williams improvised so much they had almost 16 hours of material. What a man! I'd love to listen to that 16 hours of material. Robin Williams provided the voice for the genie at union scale rate, the lowest legal pay rate a studio can give an actor, on the provisos that his voice was not used for merchandising and that the genie character would not take up more than 25% of the space of a poster, ad, billboard or trailer. I'll quit waffling now. Aladdin is a great movie. I won't mention the, take off your clothes part. Toys, often called the worst Robin Williams movie, but some people think it's way ahead of its time. When a military general inherits a toy-making company and begins making war toys, his employees band together to stop him before he ruins the name of Zevo Toys forever. Williams plays Leslie Zevo. It's a big cast, surprisingly. Joan Cusack, Robin Wright, Michael Gambon, LL Cool J, Jamie Foxx. Now, we're talking the big guns. Cast Robin Williams as Daniel Hillard. Eugenia Doubtfire, dear. Sally Field plays Miranda. Pierce Brosnan plays Stu. Mara Wilson from Matilda as Natalie. The year is 1993. Opening scene with the cartoon. That great music. Figaro! Figaro, Figaro, Figaro! Figaro! Straight away we know how good Robin is and his vocal range. He plays all the voices. The cat catches the bird. The cat gives the bird a cigarette to smoke. I love how he sticks up for kids and he thinks it's ridiculous how a smoking advert should be essentially in a kid's cartoon. He coughs and says, "What a foul way for a bird to die." Ultimately, he gets fired, but from the word go, he's done about 8 different voices. Again, what a man. Well, I've got to do what I've got to do. And he finishes on doing a Porky Pig impression. Guinness truck. Gotta mention the Guinness truck. It was the drink that killed him in the end. Or was he an alcoholic? No, indeed. He was run over by a Guinness truck. Love the line. It cracks me up every time. Miss Doubtfire talking about her fake husband. Short and sweet one, really. Another great one is, "I don't need a hand, I need a face." So Mrs. Selma is walking around the flat of Daniel and Mrs. Doubtfire. He's switching between 2 roles. He's just lost his mask. Well, it fell out of the window and run over by a truck. So he's in the kitchen, speaking to Mrs. Selma from behind the door. He puts on a wig and bathrobe and looks like Norman Bates, roaming around making tea. She says, "Do you need a hand?" from behind the door, and he says, "I don't need a hand, I need a face." Under his breath. When it looks like he's going to be caught, he dips his face into a cream pie and says that catchphrase, "Hello!" That's that amazing line everyone remembers. Hello! Love this scene so much. Another one, jump around, House of Pain, the birthday party. Hit on by the nice bus driver. Now, here's the reason why it's mentioned here. Despite it being simply adorable, an older bus driver tries to get close with Mrs. Doubtfire. Even when she's got hairy knees. Here's the big kicker to make it more sad. When the ending happens, when he's caught by the family, the bus driver will never see her again. This woman he fell for on the bus journeys. He'd be waiting for her for weeks, could be months, years, who knows. Or worse, he could turn on the TV and realise all this time it was a man. I know, it ruins you when you think of it like that. The old man, he's probably still on that bus now, waiting for her. I read that, actually, on a website. It was talking about characters who you forget that are truly, really tragic characters. I do voices. Yes! We've come to this planet looking for a tangent life. Oops, we made a mistake. It's happy to be in America. Don't ask for a green card. I want you in the lost way. He does an American Italian accent. Look at me right now, Moneypenny. How about I loosen that bow and get to know you? Sean Connery and Nancy and I are still looking for the other half of my head. He does. He does him sitting on a gold mine. Don't make me smack you, sweetheart, I'll do it. And Figaro. And then he ends on doing a very good impression of a hot dog. He gets asked if he thinks he's funny. And he says, I used to, until I met you. He's so bloody talented. Weirdly, my favourite is Nancy and I are still looking for the other half of my head. You know, we have changing his look. I love this scene. Could you make me a woman? Oh, I'm so happy. His special effects in the scene are extraordinary. He feels like Gloria Swanson. You look like her mother. I'm ready for a close-up Mr. DeMille at the start. I was speaking about this to my friends as well. I'm ready for my close-up Mr. DeMille. Must be said on every single film set ever. Every time I've been on a film set, I always say, I'm ready for my close-up Mr. DeMille. It's so strange. At the start, he looks like Cleopatra, and then latex. Oh, and it was such a shunda. Matchmaker scene, matchmaker, matchmaker. Give me a match, find me a fine, catch me a catch. The Barbra Streisand, Rain on My Parade scene. This particular scene used to make me and my family, and I still do, just laugh out loud when they saw it. For my whole family, different ages, would just be in hysterics because of this scene. It is a phenomenal one. But speaking of phenomenal scenes, we have I Need Job. I Need Job. I'm sorry, this position has been filled. Ah! Layla, get back in your cell. Don't make me get the hose. The phone calls. Damn phone calls. 1. I was in a band. Are your children well behaved, or do they need a few slams every now and again? 2. Yeah, my name is Ilsa Elmerman. Oh, a boy. I don't work with the males, because I used to be one. 3 was, Layla, get back in your cell. Don't make me get the hose. 4, I am Job. I am Job. 5, he goes in for the kill with Mrs. Doubtfire. Again, another onslaught of hysterics. Burning herself on the pan. It smells like burnt rubber. It's got sadness, you know, it's got clever rap. Dude looks like a lady montage. Takes it every time. Hoovering scene, you know, the one of many scenes we think about when we think of Miss Doubtfire. When Miss Doubtfire pops into our heads. She's in the groove, you know, she's playing football, riding bikes with the kids, hoovering, playing that brush like a guitar like Jimi Hendrix, flipping the bird to the one and only James Bond, Pierce Brosnan. I remember the end of the montage being her walking through town and someone tries to take her handbag and she doesn't let go and says, "Back off, asshole! Beat it!" Broke my back, the bastard. Love it. Broke my back, the bastard. It made Aerosmith tracks so popular. Perfect song for a perfect comedy film. He was in an episode of Homicide, Life on the Street in 1994, before Being Human, which was released the same year. One human soul named Hector. Look at me, Hector. Named Hector. Robin Williams gets the chance to live 5 separate lives through different periods of history. In the first incarnation, which appears to be a caveman, the next incarnation is in ancient Rome. Third incarnation, he is a Scottish crusader. Fourth, he is a Portuguese man in the Renaissance. Fifth incarnation, he is a modern man in New York. We get to see the full range here, full Robin. It's a British-Japanese comedy drama film with a full cast: Ewan McGregor, Robert Carlyle, Bill Nye, William H. Macy. He appeared on The Larry Sanders Show in both 1992 and 1994. He played the father in Search of Dr. Zeus TV movie. Another doctor, Dr. Kozvich, in 9 Months, 1995, directed by Chris Columbus again. Williams' scenes are said to be the funniest part of the movie. He has an accent. He adopted this Russian accent from, think, Moscow on the Hudson. Robin Williams filmed his small supporting performance in this film at the same time Jumanji 1995, was being filmed Jumanji, a game for those who seek to find a way to leave their world behind. I love this movie. It's another childhood favourite of mine, jam-packed full of adventure, wonder and fun. When two kids find and play a magical board game, they release a man trapped for decades in it and a host of dangers that can only be stopped by finishing the game. Favourite scenes: the first time Alan Parrish comes back from the Jumanji, and he's got a great big bushy beard. He's got a great big bushy beard and long hair. Although it's sad, it is very, very tragic if you think about it. I always remember the boy turning into a monkey. It's so funny. We have the scene where Alan tricks his old friend with the dice. She goes to pass it to him and turns his hand so the dice rolls. All the animal scenes. We have the lion in the closet. We have the policeman. Oh, he's so funny. He's hilarious when he screams. And not a lot of people remember it being sad, but it's actually a genuinely sad film. Directed by Joe Johnston, who brought you Jurassic Park 2, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Captain America 2011. Stars the great Robin, also young Kirsten Dunst, Bonnie Hunt, Jonathan Hyde as Van Pelt, David Alan Grier as Carl the policeman. That's who it is. According to author Chris Van Allsburg, the word Jumanji is Zulu for many effects, which alludes to the exciting consequences of the game, as mentioned in the film. Kirsten Dunst and Bonnie Hunt greatly enjoyed working with Robin Williams, as he made everyone laugh on set. Dunst particularly liked his impression of Jodie Foster. In 2017, they're remaking Jumanji with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan and Jack Black. But we won't mention that too much here, I tell you. I love Jumanji. Please don't ruin it. A year later, he played Armand Goldman in The Birdcage, 1996. Lots of memorable scenes here. Armand Goldman is the openly gay owner of a drag club in South Beach called The Birdcage. His partner Albert, an extremely effeminate and flamboyant man, plays Starina, the star attraction of the club. They both agree to put up a false straight front so that their son can introduce them to his fiancée, right-wing moralistic parents. Directed by the graduate Mike Nichols, stars Hollywood and heavy cast with Williams, Nathan Lane and Gene Hackman. They've called this one a comedy LGBT, which I've never seen before and I like it. LGBT comedy. Robin Williams was originally cast as Albert, but he wanted to change from being flamboyant characters and asked to be cast as Armand. Another big childhood one of mine, Jack. He plays Jack Powell, another with the name Jack. But this was my childhood. A boy ages 4 times faster than normal as a result of Werner syndrome, a form of progeria. Favourite scenes were, why is everyone picking on me? Sing along in the treehouse. We have farting in a can. We have that deeply emotional ending, his valedictorian speech, which he reminds his classmates that his life is short and urges them to make your life spectacular. As the 4 of them drive off into the future. Stars J-Lo as the teacher and also now shamed actor Bill Cosby. If you want a boost, you need to pick me up, check out this movie for its valedictorian speech. He had a big change when he went Shakespeare as Osric, the Elsinore courtier sent by Claudius to invite Hamlet to participate in the duel with Laertes. Although serious, he would entertain between scenes. Big Hollywood royalty in this one as well. Robin Williams and Billy Crystal were not allowed to be on set at the same time during filming for fear they would crack up the cast and crew and cause major production delays. Oh, wow. Wow. Speaking of the terrible twosome, they popped up in an episode of Friends together in 1997. And they popped up in Father's Day. A woman cons 2 old boyfriends into searching for her runaway son by convincing them both that they are the boy's father. A lot of people remember the hot coffee scene. Ouch. But Crystal and Williams' chemistry in this is just hard to come by anywhere else. It's so good. We have Ghostbusters producer Ivan Reitman directing Father's Day. During the filming of the concert scene, Robin Williams took a break and walked into the bleachers where he entertained the extras who gathered around him. Some of Crystal and Williams' character dynamics were inspired by HBO comic relief performances with Whoopi Goldberg of the late 1980s. Williams, Crystal and Julia were in Woody Allen's Deconstructing Harry, 1997 together. Williams played Mel. Next he played a professor, not a doctor this time, Philip Brainard in Disney's Flubber. An absent-minded professor discovers Flubber, a rubber-like super bouncy substance. Really great scenes in this that as a child I just simply loved. The same year, 1997, a massive performance would see Robin Williams see his first Oscar. Sean Maguire, a radical therapist who actually changes Will's defense mechanisms, and after a few unproductive sessions, Will begins to open up. Will, played by Matt Damon. A lot of people remember the "My wife farts in her sleep." One time it woke the dog up. Improvised line that got Matt Damon to crack up. This is good Will hunting. We have his inspirational quotes throughout the film. One of my favourite scenes doesn't even have Robin in it, and it's the scene where Will calls out one of the students at the bar who's making a fool out of someone, or trying to. Will just rips him into pieces because he's just reciting some book verbatim, word for word. And, he even gets the final word in at the end saying, "How do you like them apples?" Getting the girl's number. We have Baker Street, it's just, again, he's just heavily features in these films where they're just inspirational. After the 2014 death of Robin Williams, the Boston Public Garden Park bench where he and Matt Damon had their conversation scene became an impromptu memorial site for the actor, with people leaving flowers, quotes, and various items at the bench. A petition has been passed around to erect a statue in Williams' memory near the bench. He reprised his genie role in One Saturday Morning before he played Chris Nielsen, What Dreams May Come, in 1998. Patch Adams, 1998. My favourite Doctor role. It's another one of them. It's one of those uplifting movies. He tells you to be daring, do what you want, fight against the establishment. Well, that's what it taught me anyway. Patch Adams is a real guy, but I'll explain the plot. This true story of a heroic man, Patch Adams, determined to become a medical doctor because he enjoys helping people. He ventured where no doctor had ventured before, using humour and pathos, which does actually genuinely work, I reckon anyway. Ace Ventura and Bruce Almighty's Tom Shadyac directs Patch Adams. There's a scene which is very touching where he's standing on top of a cliff contemplating suicide. And I watched this before Robin passed away, and it's just mad. I urge you to check it out because it's very, very touching. I'm a bit confused about whether Patch Adams... I think I read somewhere that Patch Adams doesn't like the film, which I don't know, but correct me if I'm wrong on that one. He was in LA Doctors TV series 1999. Jacob in Jacob the Liar. Synopsis: in 1944, Poland, a Jewish shopkeeper named Jacob is summoned to ghetto headquarters after being caught out near curfew. While waiting for the German commandment, Jacob overhears a German radio broadcast about Russian troop movements. See, radio again, it's getting, it's all relative. 1999 again brought us a bicentennial man. Robin played a robot, not for the first time, named Andrew, an android who endeavours to become human as he gradually acquires emotions. Chris Columbus is back directing. Another Disney one. Disney and Robin didn't get on too well, as you may know. The film takes place from April the 3rd, 2005 to April the 3rd, 2205. Speaking of robots, he did AI, artificial intelligence. He plays the voice of Dr. No in 2001. In 2002, now, 1 Hour Photo. One of my personal favourites with Williams. It's rich in film theory. Everything you see in the film, there is a reason behind it. Everything. God, I just want to watch it again. This is the time we see Williams play a dark character. Seriously dark. They're so used to him playing this effervescent character, but oh, wow. But no, not in this one. Williams plays Cy, the photo guy, who develops an obsession with a young family. Me and my best friend watched the film and discussed at length about all the hidden subtleties, the nuances we can find, explaining our thoughts behind the colours he wears, why he has a hamster in a cage, lots and lots and lots. This is the film I would push and push and push you to watch after Dead Poet Society. You know, it's so enjoyable. It's fascinating. Seeing Robin play out of character, he should have won an award for his performance in this. It's just so unlike him, but it's also so fascinating at the same time. The plot is a rollercoaster ride, full of suspense and turns. The ending is fantastic. My better half actually bought me the DVD for my birthday. I think it was birthday or Christmas, and I was just so made up. Robin Williams often played practical jokes in the middle of takes during the making of the film. According to producer Christine, Williams bursts out of a doorway completely nude during one take for a chase scene. Oh my god. After the film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, Robin Williams overheard viewers say that they forgot it was Williams in the lead role 15 minutes into the film. An observation that made Williams so proud, and he should be. Death to Smoochie, 2002. Black comedy. Director Danny DeVito. Randolph Smiley, Robin Williams, is the host of The Rainbow Randolph Show, a popular children's television series broadcast on the fictional network KidNet. Despite his friendly appearance on stage, offstage, he is an abrasive, corrupt and alcoholic businessman who secretly accepts bribes from parents who wants to put their kids on the show. Stars Edward Norton, Catherine Keener, Jon Stewart, Harvey Fierstein or Harvey Fierstein from Mrs. Doubtfire again. Pam Ferris is alongside him as well. 2002 also had Insomnia, one of the earlier films from Christopher Nolan. It stars Big Al Pacino. Hoo-wah! And Hilary Swank with Williams. Williams plays Walter Finch, the suspect with the phone calls. He was in a TV series documentary in 2003 and a TV series Life with Bonnie as Kevin before he played Alan Hackman in The Final Cut 2004. Set in a world with memory recording implants, Alan Hackman is a cutter, someone with the power of final edit over people's recorded histories. His latest assignment is one that puts him in danger. In this feature, Robin Williams was bound by the 3 codes from the Cutter's Code. 5 years before, Robin also was bound by the 3 laws of robotics in Bicentennial Man, 1999. He was David Duchovny's best friend, Papas, a mentally challenged janitor in House of D, another inspirational one. He didn't half love his inspirational movies, and he didn't half create these inspirational characters. People always mention his teeth in this one, or the "you do great things" speech he has, which you should check out. It's strange seeing Robin as an old man, something we couldn't see for ourselves, unfortunately. He donned the robotics again with Fender in animation Robots, 2005. I'll always remember the hand scene. I know this place like the back of my hand. That's new. Next. To remedy his financial problems, a travel agent has his eye on a frozen corpse, which just happens to be sought after by 2 hitmen. He played travel agent Paul Barnell in The Big White. It's more about his relationship, to be honest, with other people. When he finds the body, it's hilarious. It's so funny. Big cast, a lot of famous faces in this one as well. At one filming location in Winnipeg, there was a playground behind the set. Robin Williams spent some time amusing the kids, telling jokes and autographing everything from movies to children's shoes. The Night Listener, 2006. His character sounds like a cross between Birdcage's Armand, gay, and Good Morning Vietnam's Adrian, as he's a radio show host too. But it's very different, very, very different. A radio show host begins speaking to his biggest fan, a young boy, via the telephone. But when questions about the boy's identity come up, the host's life is thrown into chaos as he tries to find the truth. Adapted from the controversial bestseller, reminds me a little of 1 Hour Photo, but like the opposite way around. Really, really great twist in the end. Very, very freaky. RV, 2006. Adventure road movie. Rob plays Bob Monroe. Bob and his dysfunctional family rent an RV for a road trip to Colorado Rockies, where they ultimately have to contend with a bizarre community of campers. Tom Dobbs, a comedian who hosts a new satire program, decides to run for president, and the computerized voting machine malfunction gets him elected. This is Man of the Year. Christopher Walken, Jeff Goldblum, Amy Poehler, Tina Fey star in this. Robin Williams based his performance on a combination of his own stand-up routine and Jay Leno's. A nice one here, Penguin movie Happy Feet, Raymond and Lovelace, 2006. It's about penguins. Come on, it's about penguins. We all know how well he can do animation as well. He played the 26th President of the United States, Teddy Roosevelt. He plays Teddy in Ben Stiller's led movie, Night at the Museum. One of the most successful films he's been in, actually. There's always a sadness inside me whenever I watch him in this. I still don't understand why. Next, Reverend Frank in License to Wed, 2007. A reverend puts an engaged couple through a grueling marriage preparation course to see if they're meant to be married in his church. The cast includes US officers John Krasinski, plus Mandy Moore and Christine Taylor. The same year, Maxwell, Wizard Wallace, a vagrant, arrogant and aggressive musician who teaches homeless children music and employs them as street performers, in August Rush. He popped up in Law & Order before World's Greatest Dad, Lance, in 2009. When his son's body is found in a humiliating accident, a lonely high school teacher inadvertently attracts an overwhelming amount of community and media attention after covering up the truth with a phony suicide note. See, these stories about suicide really hit home when you look back on them after we know what's happened. He plays Jack again. Jack Holden, a popular celebrity with a drinking problem in Shrink, 2009, reprised his role as Theodore Roosevelt in Night at the Museum 2. He was in SpongeBob SquarePants episode, which I didn't actually know, called Truth or Square. Old Dogs, 2009. While preparing for an important business deal, two bachelors, John Travolta and Robin Williams, become the unexpected caretakers of twin children. Harkens back the images of Father's Day in 1997. He had hit features in both Wilfred and Louie TV series. He played another Reverend Father in The Big Wedding 2013. Another President, Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, in The Butler 2013. He was Roger Stillman, the neighbour in The Face of Love in 2014. The last TV show he ever appeared in was The Crazy Ones, as Simon Roberts, an unorthodox genius with a big personality, who heads an advertising agency that has some of the biggest clients in the world. Still, the same lovable Robin Williams. Check out the funeral scene. He's got this stand-up presence about him, but he also brings a tear to your eye as well. You want the true picture of a man? See him through his daughter's eyes. That's his legacy. Speaking of stand-ups, we know he did plenty of stand-ups over the years, even starting way back in the 1970s. I couldn't actually give you a number of how many stand-ups he's been in, because he's been in so many. If you do have that number, be sure to comment below and tell me. 2014, his last year. He was still busy. Boulevard's Nolan Mack, a devoted husband in a marriage of convenience who is forced to confront his secret life. Said to be the last dramatic movie of Robin Williams' career. The angriest man in Brooklyn, Henry Altman, a perpetually angry man, is informed he has 90 minutes to live and promptly sets out to reconcile with his family and friends in the short time he has left. It's strange how a lot of these films are around dark themes like that. Doesn't half scare you. A Merry Freaking Christmas, Robin plays Virgil. He plays the big dad in this. He voiced Dennis the dog in Absolutely Anything, 2015. It's always weird when a film's released a year after a famous person's death. It's so strange. River Phoenix had one like 10 or 20 years after his death. Really strange. The performance that sticks in everyone's mind is Teddy Roosevelt, his part in Night at the Museum 3, which is probably why I warmed to his character so much. And if you listened before, you know that I actually get kind of sad when I watch Night at the Museum because of his presence in that film. Robin started on the stand-up circuit. He entered television with Mork and Mindy. He went into movies where he'd lose his job. He became the doctor, or like a professor, therapist, that type of role. And then he played robots and presidents at the end, which sounds like an album, Robots and Presidents. He played robots and presidents at the end, showing a true progression of his life and his acting career. We miss him deeply, but we have him in his films forever. Thank you, Robin Williams. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give my Facebook page a like, or follow me on Twitter if you're not into Facebook, to keep up to date with my future YouTube videos and my movie specials and my radio shows, which are all free. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.